Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 12th Annual Naples International Film Festival and this special live TalkBack Q&A. I'm Shannon Franklin, festival producer. We want to thank our sponsors of this TalkBack Q&A, Saran and Stan Kraushar. Well, we hope you all are as excited as we are to be discussing the narrative feature, Drought. And right now, we have some of the incredible people who made that film possible. Welcome, Team Drought. Hello, everybody. So we have Megan Petersen and Hannah Black. They are the co-creators, co-directors, co-producers, the co-stars of the film, and Hannah wrote the screenplay. I think I got all that right.
We created it together.
They come as a package, you will see. And rounding out our incredible group of people here, we have some of the other stars of the film, Drew and Owen Scheid. Hello, hi.
Hello, hi.
Hi, Owen. So, okay. So first I want to speak to our audience. I want to say to our audience now, if for some reason you have not had a chance to watch the film and you don't want any spoilers, you can stop viewing right now. Yes. And then we will have this wonderful live Q&A. And then after, this will be recorded and will live with the film ticket so you can come back and watch it later. Fair warning. So otherwise, fabulous audience, you are welcome to chat your questions throughout this Q&A. You can also share some love and I will share it with his team, because here's the thing. If you all could have been here, which, you know, of course we wish was possible, I know when we brought you all out, there would be a huge round of applause. Everybody would be so excited to share their joy and appreciation for this absolutely beautiful film. You all have done a phenomenal job. The minute we saw it here, we knew it was such a special film that we wanted to have part of our program and to bring to our audience. So thank you so much for being part of the 12th Annual Naples International Film Festival.
We're honored to be here. Thank you so much for having us, for real.
For real.
For real.
Okay, so let me start us off. I'll ask a couple questions. So I know that Megan and Hannah, you kind of speak in tandem, like you share a brain. So let's start at the beginning. One, how did the two of you find each other to connect and be this powerhouse dynamic duo of creativity? And then how did this project come to be?
Okay. Megan's going, you go, Hannah. Okay. So Megan and I, we are actors first. We met in a Meisner class. We both had very different lives. Megan was biology, psychology major. I was an elementary education teacher. We did not know each other, but at the same time, in the same town, we decided we're ready for something new. So we enrolled in the same class, Meisner, and in that class, it was only 6 people with our acting coach. So it was very close and intimate. And in that class, we did a couple of short films as part of the learning experience, where we all wrote the script and then we would act in it and do all the other things outside of it. And we found that we really enjoyed that as well. And then as soon as we graduated Meisner, Megan came to me with this short film idea and I was like, let's do it. And so we did. And it was the first time we did something outside of class. And we're like, whoa, we are so different, but we think our goal is always the same. We finish each other's sentences. We work so well together. So yeah, and we found we love working together. Megan, do you want to take it from here?
And then soon after that, when people responded to that short film, we were like, whoa, I think we have something here. So Hannah brought an idea to me, which would later become Drought. And just from the basis of the story, I was like, this can't be a short film. This needs to be a feature. But we don't know what we're doing. How do we make a feature film? And so that started the journey into this whole process. And now here we are.
Now here, and I don't think I asked you all, where are you zooming in from? I should say that. So Megan, Hannah, all of you want to go around and say where you're zooming in from?
Yeah, I'm here in Wilmington, North Carolina.
I'm also in Wilmington, North Carolina, maybe
Shocking.
5 minutes down the road from Megan.
Drew, Owen?
I am in Hiram, Georgia.
And I am in Wilmington.
Owen?
Wilmington, North Carolina.
Excellent. Okay, great. So this project has kind of a very special, very cool thing that happened to make it possible, if I may say. Would you mind sharing with our audience, really, how did Drought come to be the film that we see today? The very cool story you have behind the scenes.
Sure. We started to realize that we needed funding to make a feature film. It takes a lot of money. And we weren't sure how to make it happen. We wanted to play characters, Hannah and I, in the film. And so we knew we needed to get on it because we were going to age out of the roles
Pretty soon.
pretty soon. So the only way we knew was to try to get investors for the project. So we had scheduled this short film that we were going to make. That was going to be a way to pitch to investors, when Hannah all of a sudden sent me an article in a text that said, the Duplass brothers want to produce your movie. And she just sent 13 exclamation marks with it. No context or anything. So I opened the article, and it was about this competition hosted by Seed and Spark, which is an amazing crowdfunding platform for creators, filmmakers. And it was called the Hometown Heroes Rally. The point behind the rally was to encourage filmmakers to make movies where they live, that we need geographically diverse stories too. And we kept reading, and it was talking about representing the underrepresented. And I just text Hannah back, I think we should try this. And then that's a whole experience, Hannah.
Yeah. So we crowdfunded for, it was basically like 30 days. And then the finalists, whoever had raised all their funds and gained the most followers, had the opportunity to pitch to the Duplass brothers for executive producership. You got 30 seconds, a 30-second pitch video. That's what you had to make. No, not 1 second more, which seems like, okay, but then when you get down to 30 seconds where you got to say how much money you want, why they should executive produce your film, why you're filming it where you are, why this project now, it's like, oh my gosh, this is hard. So we did that. We had a great time shooting that pitch video. And then we won, which is crazy, along with another amazing team, the Miseducation of Bindu. We've become dear friends of them. Or we're friends now, I don't know. And but yeah, so we won, and then we went on, on this journey to create this movie with them attached, which still feels very strange 3 years later. Yeah,
that's incredible. And if our audience doesn't know who they are in terms of the scope of the indie film world, I don't know if you want to give a quick snapshot on the Duplass brothers and
yeah, HBO, they have multiple TV shows on HBO, they have multiple movies with Netflix. They're also, and the reason why we're so thrilled to work with them is they are actors, writers, producers, directors. They do all the things, they wear all the hats. And they're a pair. And Megan and I, even though we're not sisters, we very much, and people are always shocked when we say we're actually not, we feel so much like true siblings. And it's special to be able to work as a team and to see our heroes do the thing and then come alongside us to help us create this project. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure context, they're incredible, and they're champions of independent filmmaking and how to do it and make it happen for yourselves, right? The indie world is like, do for yourself if you can and wear all the hats and be creative. So, okay, we have to move into casting because, the two of you are phenomenal in these roles. And I mean, your chemistry, it's clear that you have an incredible relationship behind the scenes, but we're talking now about that on-camera chemistry of working off each other. You have to round out this amazing story with other amazing actors. And I see two others right here with Owen and Drew. Can you speak to how did this come to be? I noticed you guys have the same spelling, the same last name. I don't know if you're related or it's just a happenstance. So again, Megan or Hannah, do you want to speak to, let's bring Drew and Owen into this. How did you find your incredible rest of your cast?
Well, Drew, how did we find you?
What did we find? I came from the sea like Aphrodite. I
Really
was flown
did.
by angels on a big clamshell.
Really
And
did.
and then I wandered into the Actors Arsenal for acting classes, and we we all met there. Do you want? I do remember but to jump back on when you guys won the Seed and Spark contest. I remember like Megan telling me that, and I was like, can I do like catering or like be a PA? Like I was just so excited because I was such a huge fan of them, and I was like, I want to be in this somehow.
Yeah. Little did you know, Drew, that you would be in this in a very we had the character of Lewis was written so specifically, you know, with a very specific voice and energy. And I just remember I worked at Actors Arsenal, which is the studio in town where we started off. And Drew came in for an audition, a different audition. And just when he spoke, I was like, wait a second, this actor has this energy. And then we did a table read, and at the table read, it was just...
It was his audition. He didn't know, but it was his audition.
I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sneaky, very sneaky. And then obviously another critically important role to fill is the role that Owen has of Carl. And so, how did you find your Carl here in Owen?
It's crazy. So we cast Drew first, and Drew read the whole script at the table read, and basically we were like, "Hey, we love you. Will you be Lewis?" He was like, "What? Yeah, sure." It was so easy getting Drew, which when we were getting ready to do pre-production, our biggest concerns were finding Lewis and Carl. We knew that those two characters were critical to find, and we were just like, how are we going to find these people? They're both so specific. So when we found Drew that easy for Lewis, we're like, okay, well, it's going to be really hard to find Carl because there's no way both are going to be easy. We did a nationwide search, and Drew was like, hey, my brother kind of fits this breakdown. He kind of looks more like y'all. Y'all could be siblings. Would you want to read him? And we were like, sure. And he came in and he blew us away. And we thought it was too good to be true. So we made him come back because we're like, no way, this is too easy. But he was just it. Owen, what do you think about the audition process? Did you feel like you had it in the bag, or were you like, why do they keep on bringing me back? What the heck?
Well, Drew told me about the Drought, and I kind of like he had a copy of the script. I was able to read it the day right before the audition, and I kind of went in. I looked over the scenes a couple of times. I felt good in the moment. I actually blew up my voice a little bit practicing before going there. So I was thinking, oh no, I blew it. I'm not going up, but it seemed to go well overall. And then next thing I know, they called me back for another one, and I felt a little better. To be honest, I think I did better the first one. I think that was my best performance of probably like the supermarket scene, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But in the end, it worked out. And then they called me back a third time. They said I had the role, and I want to thank them for it every day. And it was a great opportunity. It was a great work with everyone. And
I know. I mean, the synergy here is kind of incredible. And I do want to remind our audience, if anyone has any questions, feel free to chat them in. It's one of those things you don't know. You don't know. You can have an amazing story and you're ready, and you have to find the right people to embody these roles. And for Megan, for you and Hannah, wearing all those hats and acting, and you have, as you said, you really have synergy in your storytelling, which is amazing. But to be able to be on the same page every step of the way, to know that what you're picturing in your head to fulfill these roles and that it matches. So if you can talk just a little bit about that process of working so closely together collaboratively, but what it's like to co-direct, what it's like to pivot and be producing, one of you's acting, you're both acting, like how do you share that responsibility? And then when you take that answer, if you respond to that, I'd love to hear from Drew and Owen also what the experience on the other side is like to work with the multi-talented and hat-wearing team. So ladies, if you want to start.
Yeah, and right before answering that, I'll give a shout out too to the rest of the cast.
Please, I'm so sorry.
No.
Everyone's extraordinary. I know. I thank you. Yes.
I meant to when we were just talking about the casting process, but what's really cool is they're all North Carolina based actors. So the talent that's just in our town is incredible, and they all just brought it to every role. But working together for us, I don't know how to describe it really. It's hard to articulate it because it just works. We just do it. when we're acting in scenes together, we had such an amazing crew that would really watch out for our vision and really make sure that we were getting what we needed to get for that scene. And then just like what people think, if one of us was in a scene, the other one would kind of take a leadership that day, so the other person could just relax into acting. Yeah. What do you think, Hannah?
You know, when you were saying that, Megs, about how it's hard to articulate, it really is. And I think maybe the best way that I think why Megan and I love collaborating together and why it seems so seamless. And I actually just had this realization when we were talking right now. This is going to be a little sappy. I'm so sorry. We care so deeply about one another and love each other so much that it's kind of like, I know Megan has my back more than she even has her own, and I have her back more than she even has her own. So it's just this constant intuitive, like looking to the other person. How are you doing? How are you feeling? I'm looking after you. You're looking after me. I know the things that make you tick and the things that drive you crazy, and I know the things that stress you out. And I think just knowing each other at such a deep level and the respect and love for one another is the only way that you can work as a collaborative pair, especially with so many hats. Would you agree?
I would agree. It almost made me cry.
I know, I got a little emotional, so I was like, don't look at anyone and look off. Anyway, as I'm saying it, I'm sweating now. Anyway.
That was beautifully said. And I think it is so clear, your relationship, your respect for each other, your support of each other, and it shows on the screen. So Drew, Owen, what was it like being on the project, working in this, what sounds like a really lovely collaborative environment? What was it like for both of you?
Yeah. Owen, you wanna take it? You wanna take it first?
Yeah, it was great work with everyone. I think you all kind of got close together, kind of really worked together and everything. Like everyone had like something to contribute every step of the way. Like even if like one thing was going on, it was like definitely like we all like talked about and kind of thought what was best for the movie, best for like what we were doing, and kind of think like we all put something great together. I think by being close.
I think so, and it was just like definitely a gift to have. Like if I'm on some set sometimes and it's like, oh, you're kind of in the dark sometimes about, because there's just so much happening around you, and it's like, oh, I can't really ask the producer a question about something because they got 10 other things, where it's like, I'm in a scene with the director, writer, producer right now. Boom, I can ask a question, I get an answer, and I'm like, oh, I know what to do now. So it was always a gift to like have that, to have like, oh, you're the Uber mensch of the project. I can ask you guys anything, and I'll feel confident and great about the scene I'm doing.
I guess that is, you're always getting the director's attention because they're right there. And
you have to look at me.
Right. How long of a shoot did you have? And we're talking independent film here. So how many days did you actually get to shoot?
Yeah. So we shot for 14 days. And we were scheduled for 18. On day 14, a Category 4 hurricane was coming our way into our town, and the movie is called Drought. It's amazing. We were shooting, and our town was named Wettest City in America that year. Very lush, not dry at all. Anyway, so we were like, okay, so the hurricane is coming. We have to pause. So we had to pause for 2 months. It ended up being a 1 when it hit our town, but it stalled for days. And basically Wilmington became an island. We couldn't get back in, and we didn't know if our last location would even be around when we got back. So we were like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? Thankfully, our sweet people, it was at the motel. That was what we had left to shoot. Everything was okay there, and we came back and shot for 4 or 5 more days, Megs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And we finished the movie 2 months later. So it started in like 105 degrees, and then we finished the movie in 45-degree weather. It was amazing.
That's similar. What year was that?
2018.
Okay. So was that Irma? The other one. Right. Because we had Irma down here at that time. So, so I mean, real life is happening and really important things are happening. And then also, you know, you got to pivot and so adapt. So clearly, you know, your first run at this, the world was not going to make it easy on you, clearly, but you persevered. So what I was going to ask each of you, yeah, is usually I say, you know, can you speak to maybe one of the more challenging scenes or moments in the film? And I feel like perhaps that could have been one of them. I don't know if you've got more. I mean, that's more than enough for that question, but you're welcome to share. And just so you know, after that, the other one is, what was perhaps for each of you one of the maybe the most interesting or one that was the most fun that you really enjoyed the most? A little yin and yang in filmmaking.
Oh, we had a lot of really interesting challenges. You would think the hurricane would be the icing on the cake, but there was a lot more. Most challenging. Maybe I'll start. Mine's kind of the most challenging, but also the most fun in this weird way. So all of our driving scenes were shot in this small town called Garland. And we were block shooting, which at the time we didn't know what that was until our cinematographer, Brad Walker, we love him so much, was like, girls, I think you can do it. Let's try it. And we trusted him so much. We're like, okay. So basically block shooting, for people who don't know, we did not know, is the rig will be on one side of the ice cream truck and the camera, and we'll shoot all of the scenes at this angle. Like it was 3 different scenes, and then they change the rig, do it on the other side, and then we start over and do all 3 scenes that way, instead of just finishing out a scene doing din, 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 that way. It was really hard. We were driving, directing, acting. This ice cream truck didn't have AC. It was 105 degrees. There was like 10 people in this truck. At one point I was laying, not very safe, laying on the floor behind the 2 front seats, like sandwiched between them, reading lines to, I think, Megan.
Yeah. While
our first AD is driving. It was so difficult, but also looking back, I was like, dang, we did that. So it was also really fun.
Yeah.
That's me. Sorry.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, top that. Let's go. All right. Who wants to take the next round? You want to speak to Megan or Drew? You want to jump in? We'll get some acting perspective here.
Yeah, sure. I was gonna say the camera too, because it was just like, oh my gosh, there's this incredible expensive piece of equipment, like kind of being held by, what was it held by? It was like, was it like steel rods, or was it like, yeah.
Didn't feel like enough ever.
And so that was definitely a challenge. And this kind of seems, but I feel like my most challenging and then most fun for me, I think the final scene of the movie, where I'm not gonna, or I guess I'm not spoiling anything, because everyone who's watching it has seen it.
We gave fair warning.
Give fair warning, and if you come back, sign out now, that's on you, because I'm about to spoil it. And when we finally get to the storm and we see it, and it is just like, you kind of have to encapsulate our whole adventure and growth in one sort of, and it was challenging, but it was also like, it was so satisfying to do, which was really fun. And it was like a sweet, I feel like I love watching that scene, because it's such a sweet, genuine moment for all 4 of us. And then I think my favorite, just like the most fun for me, was just when I enter the movie. Like I love coming into that. That was such a fun scene for me to do. Just walking in, jamming out to my headphones, picking up cereal from the sink, and just like non-verbally establishing who I am. Just like, this is the kind of guy. I'm not gonna say anything, but you're gonna get my whole vibe.
And I think it shows through. I definitely want to hear from you as well. But on that note, did you have much improvisation on set? Were you kind of close to your dialogue of your script? So Drew, did you come in and that was all laid out in the script? Was there a little bit of your own,
There was definitely, but we definitely followed the script, like as it was written, and like the beats and everything. But I was very blessed and grateful that you guys let when we all got to throw out our own little naturalisms and stuff, and something just in the scene, warranted a thing, like you guys gave us the room to explore that, which I was very grateful for. because I'm sometimes bad with lines, so so it was very, very nice to be like, hey, you can say 1 degree off of what's written, but yes, it was very, very fun to be that free, and then I could be more natural and be more, and it was such a gift to be able to have that room.
And it gives a great vibe on screen, no question. Owen, what about you? You can talk about either some of the challenges, the more fun, interesting aspects, whatever. I'd love to hear from you.
I didn't mix up. I think for me, one of the challenging things was like the first day at the boxing gym. I was like, it was my first day on the set. It was like our first day for the film too. It was kind of like just like everything going through. It's like first, like how's this going to start? Like this, what we're going to do? How are we going to put this together? It kind of felt like how's this like going to go out? It's just like, it was like also my first day ever on like film set, so got to learn a lot that day too. And
jump right in.
Yeah. And one scene I think I enjoyed, it was like really interesting. I think it was this one. It's like I'm in my room. I'm kind of looking at like this map on a wall. I'm kind of like pinning it, looking at my book, looking at the charts. It was kind of like a really interesting sequence how we filmed that. Kind of like when I kind of went and I did like 2 specific different movements for like each time we filmed. Like if I'm staying in one position, I'll look at this page and I'll put a pin here. Like we're filming like from here, I'll like put 2 pins here, and then like I'll kind of say this line. And I was kind of, that's how I was like doing my head as we were filming. I think it was kind of like stressful. We got to do it. I was like, and the day, like it was kind of a stressful day before that. So it was like we're wrapping up the day with that scene. I think so we understand.
Yeah, it's a lot to manage. And Megan, anything to add in terms of?
Yeah, I'll just give the real answer because we should all be real, right? It seems like a Debbie Downer or something, but it's just as reality of what happened when we were on set. So yeah, the day before Owen filmed that scene, I got the phone call no one ever wants to get, right? That my mother had passed away unexpectedly. So here we are, we've worked so hard to like have this moment to be in production, and then the worst thing that you can imagine. Sorry, I got emotional about it.
That's okay.
But it is also just reality that the world does move on. Like the world is spinning, even though you think you're doing the most important thing in the world. Other things are happening. So my best thing goes along with the worst thing. And that is truly seeing the team come together and say, okay, we're going to finish this movie. We're going to come together and we are going to make something beautiful, and be able to let me step away for that day and just totally take over. And it was so cool, just the testament of being able to trust the team totally. Like I didn't feel like I was missing out or something was going to go wrong or anything like that. I felt totally at peace. Of course, I was sad I was missing a day on set. But yeah, it was really awesome. And when you have something like that happen, and a hurricane, and seeing like, and Hannah was really sick during it too, and seeing all these things happen really makes the other challenging things not that challenging, right? So it really gives you a new perspective that when you're really hot and sweaty, it's going to be okay. You can get past the heat. But it was really cool, and it's really taught us, I think, a lot about learning that it's okay to have something really bad happening and something really good happening at the same time. Makes me think of like, even right now, there's stuff, really, really bad stuff happening in the world, but also really good stuff. Like we're getting to share this movie with a wide audience, wider than we ever could have imagined because we're virtual. And so life is just kind of like that, balancing that.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for being so authentic. And of course, we're so sorry for your loss. But sharing that and being vulnerable here, I think you speak so eloquently to, as you said, this moment of that is art. And when you can share yourselves and show something honest, touching, and moving, and that life presents both sides of that coin. And as you said, there is a lot going on right now. There is so much difficulty, and we're all in this together. And there are these moments of greatness and these moments of pure joy. And you so beautifully illustrated, I think, the power of film and the power of community. And that's, as you said, behind the scenes on set, as we bring this incredible film to our audience. And I know it's going to touch and move and inspire and entertain and bring laughter and tears to our audience and so many audiences around the world. It's a gift. And so thank you all so much for sharing yourselves in this way and being here. So I think to kind of wrap up, so what is next, you know, with the film? I know, as you said, we're in an interesting time. And then what is next for each of you creatively? I'd love to, you know, share with our audience that piece of fun news. So whoever wants to take it.
Well,
Hannah.
None of us like want to go first. Well, for Drought, what's next? You know, Megan and I were both really just, the landscape of distribution is kind of crazy right now, because the world is kind of crazy right now. So really, we honestly just take it one day at a time and see, you know, where Drought's home is going to be. We're hoping and praying that we'll find the perfect home for Drought, wherever that is. Our goal is just for the widest audience to see it, because we think it's a really special story that a lot of people can relate to. So that's what's going on with Drought. And then Megan and I are both actors, so we'll audition every now and then. Not so much right now, though. But we're creating a new story as well. So a Southern Gothic thriller, very different. Yeah. And of course, we're writing roles for ourselves. So yeah, wouldn't you say, Megs?
Oh yeah.
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 Awesome.
I speak for both of us of what's going on and what's going to happen next. So
That's
where we are.
That's exciting. We can't wait to see what's next, obviously. And gentlemen, Drew, what's next for you creatively? What can we expect?
Yeah. Because I was in this show before the COVID break and everything. And I just got done filming most of that, and that'll come out next year. It's the show called Mayor of Easttown, and I have a small little role in it where I play a nice drummer. And it'll come out like next fall, which will be nice. So and that'll be fun. And that's about it. And then yeah, exactly, just auditioning every once in a while now, and watching every single movie in the world with Owen.
And that's a great way to fill your time. Owen, what about you?
Right now I'm just taking online classes at UNC Wilmington. Going through, I'm gotten to the film program, so I'm working on that. There's not really too many acting opportunities right now, but no, on the side, I'm kind of trying to work on video projects if I can, and on that end, for whatever happens to Drown in the future, I wish for the best, of course.
Of course. Oh, that's so fantastic. I mean, the way you all are using this time, I think is fantastic and exciting. And of course, we want to continue to hear what's going on with Drought. So keep in touch with that. And in the future, we're going to figure out a way to get you all down here in person on some of your hopeful next projects. Going to make that happen.
We'll love it.
Love it. So I do want to just thank you again. It is such a privilege to have this beautiful film in our festival, to have all of you here with us and to share these really personal stories behind the scenes, to give our audience a little insight of what really goes into making these incredible films. And so thank you so much for being here. And
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to, of course, say to our audience, thank you again for your ongoing support of Artists Naples and the Naples International Film Festival. And we will see you next time. Thanks.